Hundreds of pupils at a Bloemfontein primary school are being tested for COVID-19. Several contact cases have been identified at the school. Our reporter Masego Ratlaga joins me now from Bloemfontein Primary to give us an update. Masego, good afternoon to you. What's the latest in terms of the tests happening there so far?
Well, Dumelo, what we do know is that one of the 7 people who've tested positive for COVID-19 in the Free State province is a nurse. She has 2 young children who attend Bloemfontein Primary School, and that's where I'm at now. And that's why the precaution is being taken. She was tested positive, I believe, earlier this week, and that's why the minister, as well as the MEC of Health in this province, decided that all pupils needed to be tested and screened. As you know, schools, as the president announced on Sunday evening, schools needed to be closed in South Africa from Wednesday. So parents were called to come with their children to Bloemfontein Primary School and themselves so that they can be screened. What we do know is that most of the worry is for children between the grades 1 and 3. That's about 600 children. But as you know, Dumelo, the minister did say that about 60 to 80% of South Africans will be affected by the virus, whether it be via being infected or by knowing someone who's infected. There's going to be about 60 to 80% of us who are going to be affected by the virus. But that's basically what we know about Bloemfontein Primary School. We have seen a few parents. Unfortunately, we can't speak to them. They are not feeling very comfortable to speak to the media at the moment. We are seeing, on my right, a few pupils, as well as their parents who were here to get tested. They've got placards, for instance. I'll ask one of them to pass it to me. Please, I'm going to ask my colleague not to pan. I just want to get one of the, placards, or rather posters, that were given to the children and their parents. Of course, we can't show the children's faces on screen, Tumelo, and that's why I asked my colleague Lingenda Bambi not to pan. But there it is. It's that placard from the National Health Department that has been, going around on social media. They've given it to the children at the school, as well as their parents and teachers, of course, just showing basically what it is that South Africans need to do to keep themselves clean of the virus, or to at least know how to handle it. Things like washing your hands, good personal hygiene, do not share food and utensils, and to see a doctor if you are unwell. So that's what we are seeing here at Bloemfontein Primary School, Dumelo.
Yeah, Masego, I need to ask you just in terms of that press briefing that we witnessed with the minister, as well as the health minister, MEC rather, in Free State. The number right now is standing at 52. We're seeing, more cases coming from the Free State province. However, the MEC did make mention that the province is struggling with water issues. Any ideas to what their plan is moving forward? We can see their measures in terms of testing parents as well as their children. But for the greater Free State province, what is the MEC of Health saying?
Well, he was not alone, Dumelo, at that press briefing. He was also with the Premier of the Free State, Sisintombela, who got a chance to also speak. She says that the Free State government has decided to cancel a few of its annual events, such as the Makufe event, the Flower event, as well as the event that they had planned to commemorate the 16th of June. She says the budgets that were allocated to those different events would actually be redirected to fighting COVID-19. She says that, basically all those events will be cancelled, and they have to cancel these events, Dumelo, because we have been told as South Africans not to gather, 100 people or more cannot gather in one place. We already have stringent rules that were announced by the president and ministers such as Zwelinkhize himself, as well as Begitele yesterday, telling us, for instance, the rules around alcohol. So, an an event like Makufe, you would expect more than 100 people there. You would expect a lot of alcohol there throughout the day. So Sisi Ntombela announcing that events such as that would be cancelled and the budgets being redirected to the fight against COVID-19. I just want to go back to what we know about how the Free State got their cases of the coronavirus. The minister says that 5 people were reported after arriving here in this province around the 11th of March. Those people had been traveling from different parts of the world, including, for instance, France, and as well as the state of Turkey in the United States, or rather, excuse me, or rather one of the states in the United States, saying that those people were then tested. They tested positive and they were then quarantined at a B&B here in Bloemfontein, and therefore obviously, Dumelo, you can imagine all the staff that work at that B&B have to now be tested. He also said, the minister also said, Dumelo, that the people who were at that B&B would be quarantined for 14 days anyway, whether they test positive or negative, just for precaution, until the 5 cases that were confirmed initially show, they become asymptomatic, which means that they are cured and they show no signs of the virus. This is the same case, Dumelo, for the children of the nurse I was telling you about, whose 2 children come to this school. They also are awaiting test results for those 2 children. And in the meantime, they will be quarantined as well for about, or rather isolated for about 14 days, whether they test positive or negative, until their mother is showing signs of healing.
All right then, Masogora, thank you so much for that update coming to us from, of course, Bloemfontein.